The Doctor is back, and today we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night. Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. We are back in Azerbaijan, UFC Baku. Government-mandated Rafael Fiziev appearance. I think he's been in every single one of these cards. And it does kind of have shades of him versus Bahamondes, just in terms of the aura. I mean, Manuel Torres and Ignacio Bahamondes, not the same fighter, but it does kind of have that same kind of tone to it. Outside of that fight, though, it is a pretty interesting card. I mean, you have, Michel Pereira versus Shara Magomedov. I mean, that's an amazing co-main, man. Nazim Sadykhov, Shadow Long Island, Asu Almabayev versus Charles Johnson, Brunno Ferreira versus Ikram Aliskerov, blockhead main event. Rafael Magomedov versus Michał Oleksiejczuk. I mean, Yakhyaev is on this card. Fucking Ukrainian. Yuri's on this card, Beksat Almakhan, Gene Matsumoto. We have a pretty good card here, and I'm excited to break this one down. Let's start off with Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres, and I kind of mentioned this earlier. You do get hints of Bahamondes versus Fiziev from a year ago with this fight, just in terms of kind of a guy from the older guard facing a dude from the newer guard, and I kind of wish this was the co-main and we kind of had a bigger fight here to be the main event. I do think this is obviously a good fight and an intriguing one, but I wish we kind of had a little bit of a bigger fight with bigger names as the main event. But either way, really intrigued by this one. I like Manuel Torres here by knocking. Fiziev could definitely win this one. He does have great head movement and technical striking from kind of that Muay Thai stance, but the guy has no pop whatsoever. I mean, a lot of people have been adamant with Rafael Fiziev saying this guy needs to move down to 145, and maybe his power can show there, because it just hasn't shown whatsoever really at the UFC level at 150. I feel like that's kind of one of the things holding him back, along with not really being great with his hands or like being like a great counter puncher or great boxer in general. But Manuel Torres has that death touch, man, the nuclear power, the massive size. This guy hits you from angles that you can't even quantify and see. But Fiziev's got great kicking game. That's kind of his bread and butter. Great footwork, great movement, great speed at range. Torres is going to have a massive reach. I kind of thought he was bigger. He's only 5'10". He kind of looks like he's fucking like 6'1". He's going to land big straight punches going forward. He'll mix in elbows in the clinch and throw punches again from kind of these weird angles, and has pretty underrated wrestling and really good takedown defense that he's shown against Grant Dawson, Chris Duncan. He's shown takedown defense against guys who can grapple. You might see a world where, actually, why am I saying you might see a world? People will kind of come at you and be like, oh, Bahamondes, he slept Manuel Torres, and, Fiziev big Ignacio Bahamondes, he'll beat Manuel Torres. MMA math is one of the fakest fucking things in the world. Ignacio Bahamondes is trying to fight behind his kicks with, fucking throwing up head kicks. Manuel Torres is not going to do that. He's going to come in here and he's going to outbox Rafael Fiziev. He's not going to play this fucking range game where he's throwing kicks. That's kind of the death when you're facing Rafael Fiziev. If you're going to try and pick this guy apart at range, he'll just beat your ass. That's what he wants to do. He wants to work his sick body kicks and chewing up your calf. If you're getting inside with this guy, you can beat him and knock him out. We've seen guys give him trouble with this, like Justin Gaethje, like Mauricio Ruffy, where Ruffy's getting his fucking leg kicked in and kind of just being put on the back foot for most of the fight, and next thing you know, he's finding his jab, he's finding that lunging right, and he's fucking finishing Rafael Fiziev. And Fiziev is tough to finish, don't get me wrong, but when you're facing a guy like Manuel Torres, who has that death touch, he can win this one. Again, Gaethje was getting inside on Rafael Fiziev. Not to compare Manuel Torres to Gaethje. I'm just saying, if you can get inside with this guy and force it to be, a little bit closer distance, more in the boxing range, more in the clinch, you can beat this guy. Even Bobby Green was piecing up Rafael Fiziev. I know Bobby Green got fucking flow state. He's a fucking beast, but you get my point. Fiziev's not some massive counter puncher. He should be at 145. Bahamondes couldn't really get his kicks off on Fiziev. His only real success was when he wanted to box with him. Torres won't throw those stupid fucking head kicks. He'll plod forward, try and take your head off. Again, if Fiziev tries to mix in grappling, which we've seen him kind of do as he's gotten further along in his UFC career, Torres has great defensive grappling and great takedown defense. He'll stuff Rafael Fiziev's takedowns. Fiziev is a technically better fighter, don't get me wrong. He's got the better footwork, I guess the more technical striking. But the thing with Rafael Fiziev is he kind of has to fight perfect in this fight, because if he makes one mistake, Manuel Torres is going to take his fucking head off. And I just think he's going to find the chin of Rafael Fiziev. Torres will get through the kicking range, find his jab, find that straight right, and kill him. I think Manuel Torres wins this one by like round 2 TKO. Probably brutally again. If this gets past the second round or like halfway through the third, I would say Rafael Fiziev probably wins. Manuel Torres, we haven't really seen a ton of his cardio be tested, and especially at this higher level. That'll be interesting. It wouldn't shock me if Fiziev won this. He is still very good with elite level footwork, and if he could really keep this at range and maybe continue to show improvements in the boxing, maybe he can win this. But I feel like just the vibes on Fiziev are kind of down, and I really hope this is what pushes him to 145. Not that I want to see Rafael Fiziev go out fucking cold, but I just think his career would be so much better and so much more interesting at 145, because you watch him at the fucking weigh-ins, guys. I was talking to somebody about this. He doesn't even look dehydrated at all cutting to 155. He could cut another 10 pounds and be fucking fine. And maybe actually starts like finishing dudes who aren't old as shit. You know what I mean? And that's what are his finishes in the UFC? Like RDA, Matt Riddle, and I'm probably fucking forgetting whatever his other finishes. But whatever. Rafael Fiziev, I'm taking Manuel Torres to knock him out in the second round. Let's go on to the co-main. Michel Pereira versus Shara Bullet. Really one of the co-mains of all time. Like a really dumb fight between two guys who had like a massive hype train on each other. Like the fan base would put on these guys at one point, and then everybody kind of found out they just weren't good. Like Michel Pereira's shit, and Shara Magomedov is just, he's kind of mid. I think Michel Pereira will probably come out here and look decent early and maybe look okay for a bit. Like he did win against Reyes, who's one of my favorite random NPC middleweights, but I figure Shara is just going to put more volume on him, move a lot better, really nice light kicks and kicks in general. Michel won't kick any kicks. He's just going to slow down as the fight goes on. Again, Michel Pereira looks like a fucking, when you shoot Narcan into somebody and they wake up for the first like minute, they're just fucking bouncing around, they just shoot straight up and then eventually they fucking tire out. That's Michel Pereira when he's getting fucking amped up on Narcan for like 2 minutes. He looks amazing, and then he's jumping off the cage, he's doing backflips onto your nuts. Once that's over, once those 2 minutes are up, he sucks. He did kind of hold in there against Reyes, but I just expect Shara Bullet to take over as this fight goes on. Like, Michel could take him down in this one, but his jiu-jitsu just isn't very good. And Shara throws a ton of elbows off his back. I could just see Michel Pereira just fucking standing up and be like, I want no part of this. Michel Pereira sucks. Shara will probably win by decision with relative ease. Just a dumb fight. He'll just put more output on and fucking, he's just better than Michel Pereira. Moving on to Nazim Sadykhov versus Matheus Camilo, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Shout out Long Island, shout out Saralongos. That's where Nazim Sadykhov mostly trains out of. I like Sadykhov here. You never forget the Nicholas Mata fight. One of the craziest fucking fights you'll ever see. Camilo will come out here with nasty calf kicks and straight right. But I think the opposite stances will kind of negate, his calf kick a bit. Sadykhov rolls with his punches really well. Ziem, when he fought for SCM in his last one, I picked Nazim Sadykhov to win that mostly because he's Saralongo guy. Ziem kind of just outkicked him and out-wrestled him, but really a big reason why Sadykhov lost that fight is because Ziem is just kind of this size freak mutant at lightweight. I think it's kind of tough to win fights like that with a guy like Ziem who's just giant. Sadykhov will thrive in the pocket on you. Camilo got bullshit takedowns on Slavikos, and low-key Slavikos was doing decently when he was moving forward. That fight fucking sucked, by the way. I kind of forgot who Matheus Camilo was, and then I clicked on whatever his most recent wins are. I was like, oh my god, I remember that Slavikos fight. I think that was that 324 or 323? It was the first fight. It absolutely fucking sucked. Sadykhov also has a nice head kick and an uppercut that he can mix in there. He'll defend takedowns well. He'll go forward, just do more damage. I think he wins this one by decision. He also gets the little hometown boost because he's from Azerbaijan. So I think he's going to win this one by decision. Moving on to Asu Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. Charles, buddy, you're not winning this one. You're not facing a insane flyweight prospect. I'm going to lean Almabayev here. Charles Johnson can just come in here and finish you and fluke you. But he loses to all these guys who can really out-wrestle him, where it's like a Tamirov, Rafael, whatever, Estevan, whatever the fuck the guy's name is, had a pretty close fight with Bruno Silva, where he was defending the takedowns well, But Bruno Silva just mixing him in there made it really close. Even though Silva's offensive wrestling is kind of overrated, it just made the fight close in general. Asu he'll have like power on the feet, who mostly just kind of mix things up and, you know, is dangerous and good overall, just pretty well rounded. I like him by decision here. You know, Charles Johnson's always live for fluke KO. Maybe if Asu Almabayev gets knocked out by Charles Johnson, we give it a year and Almabayev's in the fucking title picture. But whatever. I did see Bedtime say how funny it would be if like Charles Johnson wins this and then just fucking loses to Mir Albazi, because that would be the most Charles Johnson shit of all. Or like loses to like Tagiru Limbekov, like somebody who just fucking sucks. Either way, I'm taking Asu Almabayev by decision. I trust his wrestling. I trust his grappling. I like him in this one to win by decision over Charles Johnson. Moving on to a really fun fight that's hard to predict in Brunno Ferreira versus Ikram Aliskerov. Just two blockheads, two dudes with power who have no chins. I kind of lean Ikram Aliskerov. It's, again, a really weird fight where you could kind of just chin either one of these guys, but Ikram's a little bit longer. RoboCop just nuked Brunno Ferreira. Brunno Ferreira will mix in the grappling where he'll throw these like weird blast double legs where he looks like a fucking idiot running at you. But then he gets you down and then he has no control. Like, he does have nice scrambles and like nice submission ability, whether it's his arm bar, the rear naked choke. But Ikram Aliskerov has solid grappling, can stuff takedowns, can offensively wrestle. Did it to Iron Turtle where he kind of just smudged him. He also can control Bruno on the ground. Very close. Again, I think this could go either way. I like the reach and the wrestling advantage / grappling advantage for Ikram Aliskerov, where I think he's just a little bit more dangerous and a little bit better. I'll take Ikram by decision. Again, this is a close one where like Ikram Aliskerov being whatever he is, like a minus 300 favorite. I think that's what he is or something. Minus 310 favorite is absolutely ridiculous. It is so close. This guy who got chinned by fucking Robert Whittaker. I know Bobby Knuckles is my guy, but that's kind of embarrassing. Robert Whittaker, he don't have fucking pop like that. And Brunno Ferreira, like I could just definitely see him sliming out Ikram Aliskerov within like a minute. But I don't, because you know the thing is, I get stuck watching Brunno Ferreira knockout highlights, and you watch him like just fucking send fucking Dustin Stoltzfus and RoboCop to the shadow realm. You're like, man, this guy's fucking good, man. And then he just isn't that good. You know what I mean? Like, he did have some nice wins. Vittori, Jax McVeigh, man, people forget, man. Armin Petrosian. But then you look at, like, that RoboCop fight was bad. The Magomedov fight, he gets submitted. Abus Magomedov saw, we're about to talk up to about him. But I like Aliskerov to win this one by decision. I think this could be a really, really interesting fight. Moving on to Abus Magomedov versus Michał Oleksiejczuk. I'm gonna take fucking Abus. No, I'm gonna take Michał Oleksiejczuk in this one. You know, once Abus isn't really having his way, it just kind of fucking falls apart for me. He sputters out, doesn't really have a ton of cardio. It's been well documented where he's probably the better fighter in this one, but you watch the Joe Pyfer fight where like Joe Pyfer takes him down, Magomedov gets in position to sub him, nearly does, and then Pyfer reverses and then just chins him. Like, Abus Magomedov just has no fucking cardio. He is very skilled. Like, he can land takedowns on you. I think his wrestling's probably a little overrated, but has submission game, which is also a little bit overrated. But just fights well behind his kicks. Like, he is good, but just, and he probably is live for a sub early, but I just think Michał Oleksiejczuk will just walk forward on him, like survive whatever bullshit Abus Magomedov is throwing up in round one. Like, this is a guy, Michał Oleksiejczuk, who I believe had like Kaio on his back for a bunch of rounds. Like, still lost, but survived. I know his takedown defense isn't great, but I just think Abus Magomedov, I can't trust a guy who has no fucking cardio whatsoever. I think Michał probably wins this by round 2 TKO. He'll just punch the lack of cardio. Abus Magomedov just take over this fight as it goes on. I just can't pick a dude who has no fucking semblance of cardio whatsoever. Let's move on to the prelims, though. Farman Hasanov versus Eric Nolan. Now, Eric Nolan, this is a bad sign for Eric Nolan, who I'd like, was looking for a fucking coach from the Philly, Jersey area, because I follow on Instagram, for on-shore notice for this fight. So that's not a good sign. I think Farman Hasanov is like what's it called? He's like he's fought mostly regional dudes that were kind of nobodies. Like, Nolan's I kind of lean Hasanov here just based on the grappling. Nolan's boxing's a lot better. Hasanov kind of sucks on the feet where he just like spams hooks, like does have power. And when he gets you down, he does have aggressive ground and pound. And Nolan did rock Yakhyaev, lands a jab well, his overhand, clinch stuff. But Hasanov, I think, does have really good wrestling. Chain wrestles beautifully. If he gets takedowns, he should, like, he wins. And he should shoot a bunch in this one. He'll land big elbows on top. Nice ground and pound. Nolan will land stuff and probably have a moment where it looks like he's going to fucking win this one. But I just think Farman Hasanov comes out here, the weird Azerbaijani boost, and just lands a good amount of takedowns and wins this one by decision, where he just kind of wrestle fucks Eric Nolan for 3 rounds. Let's move on to Abdul Rahman Yakhyaev versus Julius Walker. What a fight. I don't know who Julius Walker pissed off to get this fight, but you know, it's definitely something where, like, Julius Walker just got brutally finished by Dustin Jacoby, got destroyed for him. Yakhyaev will win this one. You know, here's what Julius Walker could do. He could push a pace, he can mix the clinch, maybe he throws in a takedown there. Did that a lot against Dustin Jacoby. But his striking is weird and makes really no sense, and Yakhyaev can grapple. Big ground and pound. He can get his subs, has like numerous subs he can go to. It's the guillotine, fucking Darce, the rear naked choke. You don't, the thing is with Yakhyaev is I'm still so intrigued by him, because you watch him fight, like, this guy is such an explosive athlete. He's really fun to watch, but you don't really know a ton about him because he's fought mostly shit cans, and he's super explosive, very athletic, does leave himself open to be hit. I just think Julius Walker's not good enough and won't be able to do that. We'll get interesting past round 1 because, again, we don't really know much about him or his cardio. I'm going to go with Abdul Rahman Yakhyaev by round 1 submission in this one, or round 1 TKO, either way. I think a bit also another thing with this, you could picture Abdul Rahman Yakhyaev like chinning somebody who's fucking ranked and actually being good. Like Julius Walker, who I know, did he beat Alonzo Menafield or look good against him? What did he do against him? I make that up. He looked good against Alonzo Menafield. So it's like, oh, Julius Walker could definitely go in there and kind of scrap with dudes who are ranked caliber, and maybe he makes this closer than I'm giving him credit for. But I think Rahman Yakhyaev is just such a ball of fucking athleticism that he's going to win this one fairly easily. So let's just keep moving on. Nursultan Ruziboev versus Andre Pulyaev. I mean, 1 point on Andre Pulyaev, man. Did you see how this guy was moving against the Teva Gautier, man? Like, he didn't get finished. He got knocked down like 8 times, man. The grit on this guy is crazy. There were real dudes on Twitter saying that fight was a robbery, by the way, just because Pulyaev somehow survived. Ruziboev by decision is kind of the play here, in my opinion, because he moves well, is very sound defensively, survives well in fights. He'll block him. Excuse, why did I say he survives well? Fuck that. Fucked everything I just said. I'm taking Ruziboev by decision. Andre Pulyaev moves well, is defensively sound, he'll block punches well, move, and just kind of survive. He did it against Gautier, you know, who has no cage cutting ability whatsoever. But when Gautier squared up on him, he fucking killed him. Ruziboev's much more complete. You know, will back Pulyaev up against the fence, land a straight right like he did against Brunno Ferreira and fucking other guys. He's just very rangy, very good. Pulyaev will just kind of, again, this guy's going to do nothing for 3 rounds. He'll throw calf kicks, throw a jab in there, just get punched up for 3 rounds, and maybe he gets dropped a few times. He just stands so straight up. Andre Pulyaev's just not fucking winning this. We're taking Ruziboev by decision. Fucking Khan Ofli versus Javier Reyes. Fucking Khan Ofli fucking sucks. Javier Reyes not really that good either. This picture of him is so funny. This looks like a fucking like a MySpace profile picture. Like, it's so dated. That picture has to be from like 2012. But Javier Reyes does kind of fight like a fucking idiot. Douglas Da Silva de Andrade, whatever the guy's name is, I don't even know how he won that fight. Just, you know, he almost got finished in there, if I believe. But look, listen, he'll get chinned against an actual good featherweight Javier Reyes. Like a Pat Sabatini would just chin Javier Reyes. A fucking number 7 in the world, Pat Sabatini, the GOAT, would do it. But Khan Ofli sucks, you know what I mean? He robbed Yija, got 10-8'd there, has no chin. Reyes, again, I don't think is very good, but Khan Ofli, I think, is terrible. Reyes can deal with the grappling on the feet, he'll just pour it on you. Ofli, even when he gets you down, even when he gets you down, can't really hold anyone down because he's so small. And, you know, if he takes Reyes' back, maybe he subs him, but Ofli just doesn't have a chin, will get spammed with hooks, just doesn't have the weapons to win. I think Reyes wins this one by, like, round 2, round 1, fucking TKO. So whatever, I'll go with Javier Reyes by round 2 TKO. Moving on to Daniil Donchenko, the fucking Ukrainian Yuri, versus Theodore Berggren. They picked this dude up off the street. He's filling in on short notice for Andreas Gustafsson. Rest in peace. He's not dead. I think he just has a fucking heart problem. But I'll take Donchenko by TKO. You know, Berggren, however you say this kid's name, you know, he does move well, I've seen, but just not a great boxer. Does have a long reach. I just think Donchenko's going to go forward, land nice combos, go to the body, mix in the grappling if he wants to, just back him up to the fence, let his hands go and win this one. You know, Berggren, however you say this guy's name, relies on kicks too much, will get slowed down and pushed back. Daniil Donchenko by round 2. I picked a lot of round 2 TKOs in this one. Let's just talk about the last 2 fights here. Beksat Almakhan versus Gene Matsumoto. I mean, the fact that this is low on this card is pretty insane. You know, both these guys are pretty good, solid, kind of underrated names in the bantamweight division. Beksat lost to Umar, did drop him on short notice, lost to Alexandre. Gene Matsumoto had a really close fight with Rob Font. Just 2 guys who were pretty good. I'm going to lean Beksat Almakhan. You know, he has very good power for the bantamweight division. Again, nearly finished Umar, created those Umar chinny narratives and can box very well, will leap in with punches like uppercuts, fucking overhands. He has slowed down later in fights, which makes, you know, picking Gene Matsumoto intriguing, and Matsumoto's more well-rounded, but he has real no finishing ability, and that's where I really don't think I could pick him, where, you know, he's just also not a guy who really has great sub ability. Not only can he not finish you on the feet, he doesn't really have great sub ability, despite kind of being a grappler. He wants to break you down with volume over a fight. I think either it's a KO early for Beksat Almakhan, or like a really close decision where I think Gene Matsumoto, one of his problems is he leaves himself so open to being hit, and his defense on the feet kind of sucks. I know Beksat kind of leaves himself open to be taken down, but Matsumoto just leaving himself, you know, vulnerable to being just punched in the face does worry me in this one. Thanks for saying my uploads can't be fucking complete, you fucking dumbass Google Drive. But I just think Beksat wins this one. Matsumoto's blockhead. He'll mix in the wrestling when he wants to. I'm going to take Almakhan by decision in close fight. He might come out here and just chin Gene Matsumoto, but I wanted to be a decision, so if Gene Matsumoto wins, like, I didn't give up on this guy, man. You know, he's fucking good. I think it's just hard to deal with the power of Beksat, and Matsumoto just kind of gets hit too much for me to think that he's going to win this one. Let's talk about the final fight, the moment everybody's been waiting for. Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. Don't know anything really about these guys based on, really the only thing I know about these guys is things people have said online. No clue who they are. I know Jefferson Nascimento fought at LFA. Has the last name I've seen before. Shout out Alan Nascimento. Fucking lost to Mitroposo. And, you know, Tahir's just fought dudes from the Taliban in the Middle East. Nascimento I've seen kind of just spams hooks, pushes you back. Abdullayev, slow starter. Can find a submission if he gets you down. Has nice ground and pound. I just think he should be able to push back Tahir because he's younger, has more power. Fucking, we'll just go round 3. TKO for fucking Jefferson Nascimento. And that's the breakdown. We're going Manuel Torres to beat Rafael Fiziev. We're getting some of these unks out of lightweight. Rafael Fiziev, go to 145. Fucking fight Arnold Allen. You know, do something fun like that that the people want to see. I don't want to see you keep getting chinned, and because that's what we're going to go on. We're going to go on a back-to-back chin streak after Manuel Torres, the Mexican hero, slimes you out. We're going Manuel Torres over Rafael Fiziev. If you're new here, remember to like, comment, subscribe. The doctor is signing off.